History of Noir by Oliver Marvin. Film noir is a French term meaning black film or dark film and is used to describe a type of film. These films are usually black and white movies with a female bad guy, referred to as a femme fatale, another French term meaning disastrous woman. These films officially date from around the early 1940s to the late 1950s, although it has branched into other genres since then, and there were other films before the 1940s which showed noir techniques. Many noir influences come from early German and French films. The first example of film noir can be seen as early as the 1920s. One example is the film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. This silent 1920s German horror film is one of the first things that heavily influenced film noir. In this film, we see many clichés of noir, despite being a couple of decades before noir became a genre. Noir films tended to portray everyone, even the innocent, as suspicious, a common theme in Caligari. The genre also uses several visual elements in its dark and shadowy style, and its distorted and expressive makeup and acting. This was not the only film, nor the first film to show early influences of noir, but I felt it was the best example, due to the themes it presented and how it presented them. Going forwards a few years, we reach the 1940s, also known as the birth of proper film noir. There is no first official film noir, as the term was used to talk about a selection of different films. These were John Huston's The Maltese Falcon, Otto Preminger's Laura, Edward Dmytryk's Murder My Sweet, Billy Wilder's Double Indemnity, and Fritz Lang's The Woman in the Window. These films were referred to as film noirs by Italian-born French film critic Nino Frank. Frank, like all the French, missed out on seeing these films due to their release during the Second World War. It wasn't till the war was over that the other countries got to see them. In his article, Un nouveau genre policier, l'aventure criminelle, a new police genre, the criminal adventure, he conned the name film noir. Nino Frank described these films as showing rejection of sentimental humanism, the social fantastic, and the dynamism of violent death. He also called attention for criminal psychology and misogyny. Frank's article stated that these dark films no longer have anything in common with the ordinary run of detective movies, and how they reflect the difficulty of finding a suitable label. One of the films Frank looked at was 1944's Double Indemnity. This was directed and co-written by Billy Wilder. This film is a very well-known noir, and is often used as examples for lectures or lessons on the topic of noir. Robert Sklar, a former chairperson of the Department of Cinema Studies at New York University, said, "Classic film noir is marketed by major thematic elements. A plot about how a crime told from the point of view of the criminal, psychosexual themes are explored, and a visually dark and claustrophobic framing with key lighting from sources within the mise-en-scène, casting strong shadows that both conceal and project character feelings. Double Indemnity includes all these traits." Noir has many primary moods: melancholy, alienation, bleakness, pessimism, ambiguity, guilt, evil, desperation, and paranoia. Our characters would have been anti-heroes, who were corrupt and conflicted. These characters would have been anything from a regular person, to a cop, to a salesman. Although, under the surface, they were very much the same character, wanting the same goals. These characters would often get what they deserved in the end, as seen in Double Indemnity, where the main character, Walter Neff, as played by Fred McMurray, uses the quote, "I didn't get the money, and I didn't get the girl." Another key character in film noir is the femme fatale. This is the female bad guy who would often subdue the main character sexually, often get things from him. Looking at Double Indemnity, we see the femme fatale in this. We see Phyllis Dietrichson, as played by Barbara Stranswick, using Walter Neff to get rid of her husband. When he's done this for her, she then shoots him, leaving Neff to go back, leaving a message, then die. Phyllis and other femme fatales were often portrayed as sexy, with close-up shots of legs used to attract the male gaze. They were also quite sinister and greedy, wanting both money and sex from the main character. They were often quite vengeful too. A third key character is a chief-type character. These were often oblivious to the true story, but hold key information to the going on. They would often care a lot for the main character and show faith in them where others could not. We see this in the character of Barton Keyes in Double Indemnity, as he doesn't really know what has happened, but has clues and suspicions to what is really going on. We see his trust in Neff and how he almost treats him like a son, wanting to take over from the job. The Noir era finished in the late 1950s, but many films and television shows classed themselves as neo-noir or new noir. They were no longer black and white, but used a lot of influences from film noir, still using a disgruntled main character, a femme fatale, cops, etc. One modern example of a neo-noir is BBC's Sherlock, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. Here we can see many noir influences. Firstly, the character is Sherlock, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Sherlock is portrayed as a weirdo in many different ways. He has little friends, is often shunned by the public, rude, and is often portrayed as quite corrupted. We also have a femme fatale, Irene Adler, as played by Laura Pulver. Despite only appearing in a few episodes, Adler is portrayed as a very typical femme fatale. She attracts our main character sexually to get his attention, she's very lustful, and uses her sexuality to get what she wants. The third style character, the chief type, can be seen in D.I. Greg Lestrade, as played by Rupert Graves. This character doesn't always know the full story, but is willing to listen and trust Sherlock and John Watson when no one else will. He is also a helper, a key part of Vladimir Prop's 8-character type theory. Noir has branched off into many subgenres. Not only neo-noir, but cyber-noir, tech-noir, whodunit, and helped to build up the whole crime genre, which is still heavily produced today in both television, films, and various other medias. Thank you.